3, 2, 1.
It's Wednesday, March 18th, and you know what that means. Yep, it's another new comic book day. It's Ash Wednesdays. This is my chance to make a crappy video showing the comic books that I buy every week. I try to do a video every week. Sometimes I've kind of fallen off that commitment a little bit because it was getting kind of a grind, and then sometimes life gets in the way. But if you're here for the first time, you haven't ever watched my videos, these are really just a comic pull list video, whatever you want to call it, where people, they like to do this on YouTube where they show the comics they buy. I like to do it. I think it's fun. I like to talk about the comics I buy, why I buy them. And sometimes I also like to talk about any topics that are on my mind as well, kind of related to the comic book industry. Today, my comic book store was open. It is, how many days into the lockdown? No, we're not really locked down. I'm in San Diego, California, where pretty much no one has the coronavirus, but we're walking around like it's, come on, dog, really? That's my dog in the background if you can hear. So the comic book store was open, business as usual. I had to go down to Costco, and I needed some paper for work. I do work from home, and I'm all out of paper. And I need it to print stuff, and Costco has it way cheaper than anywhere else. So I go there. Anyways, but the line was around the building, not like out the front door, down one side and around the back. And I don't know, pretty much all Costco's are the same size. They're gigantic, and that's a huge ass line. I was like, I am not going to stand in this thing just to get a case of paper. So I decided to brave Office Depot, and let me tell you, there's a reason why you go to Costco, because the paper's like twice as much. I get a case that's 10 reams for about $30 at Costco. Office Depot has it for like $60. That's crazy. But I got lucky because they had some paper on sale. However, the sale apparently was expired. So when I went up to the cash register, they rang it up, and it was like $70 after tax because, California state tax, they need to steal everything from you to fund the communism. I was like, $70? I was like, no, this is $36.99. Like, it's on the tag. And they're like, oh no. And they checked with the manager, is this on sale? And they're like, nope, it's not. So I was like, damn it. So they had another like cheap box of paper that was $39.99, which was a little bit more than the $36.99 sale price I thought this was on. So I went back and I was like, I'll just, whatever, help these people. I'll go swap it out. And I'm going back and I look, and I'm like, sure enough, I look at the placard and it said save $28. I was like, what the hell? So I took a picture and walked it back up to the register, and I was like, look, what's going on? I mean, it clearly says it's on sale, and they honored the price. So I was polite. I didn't make a stink. I didn't get all pissed off and be like, listen here. I was just like, hey, just so you know, it does say it's clearly on sale. And they're like, oh, okay. So they were nice. Everyone was real calm. There was like 4 people waiting in line. I just went to the back of the line. Like, it was kind of neat that there's no real panic in the real world. Then you get on Twitter and it's like, the sky is falling. Oh my God. Everyone's going to die from the virus. And it's like, oh my goodness. Look, I'm not a scientist, so take what I have to say with a grain of salt. But also take a lot of what scientists are saying because they're bought and paid for by corporate interest. So you don't really know who to trust anymore. But I can tell you that my buddy works at one of the biggest hospitals in San Diego, which is a huge medical city, by the way. It's one of the biggest cities in the country. And as of yesterday, I don't know about today, but as of yesterday, they still did not have a single case, a single patient in the hospital with coronavirus. So it's not the thing, in my opinion, as layman as it is, as we're being led to believe. It certainly is something. I'm not trying to make light of it. I'm not trying to just be like, oh, this is a sham. But in lieu of these ideas where like New York, state of New York and the state of Washington are talking about locking down, doing complete lockdowns, people, no businesses functioning, everyone quarantined. Like, let's ease off on the hysteria, okay? With a 3% mortality rate, and in the U.S., I believe numbers are actually showing at about a 2%. We're actually less because guess what? Our medical system is much better than most of the world that has socialized medicine. And Italy skewing out the danger statistics because Italy has like the greatest elderly population, I think, like in the world or something. It's up there. And they didn't contain it. Like when it happened, they were just like, oh, whatever. And so it got out of control. And then there was problems. So definitely it can be a problem for the elderly community. And it definitely can be a problem for anyone who's immunocompromised. I myself have a respiratory condition. So I am a little bit worried if I get it, will there be complications? But this is the way I look at the world. Life is a risk. You could walk outside and get struck by lightning, hit by a car. You could get in a car wreck. In fact, statistically, you're much, much, much more likely to get in a car wreck than right now even contract coronavirus, much less die from it. The number of people who have contracted the coronavirus at this point, last figure I heard was about 10,000 people. In a country of, a third of a billion people, that's a drop in the bucket. It's also less than the number of people that actually died from the flu just in the most recent flu season over the winter crossing 2019-2020. That's the flu season, that winter period. 16,000 people died from flu. Not even that many people have contracted coronavirus, much less died from it, which I believe, like I said, the last I heard was about 2%. So whatever 2% of 10,000 people is, that's what, 20 people have died. That's 200 people. But it's a serious thing. I don't want anyone to die. I'm not going to make light of any death. But when you're looking at from a global standpoint, when you're looking even from a national standpoint, you have to take things into consideration and be pragmatic and realistic. Do you lock down an entire country because some people get a super flu? And that's what coronavirus is. People go, you caught it a flu. Look, it is. It's a super flu. It is deadlier than the flu as far as its chance to kill you. It is more severe. But it is not bubonic plague. It's not Ebola, okay? I don't even think it's as deadly as SARS. So we need to ease back on the panic. We need to just be pragmatic, be prudent, be safe, realize that there's a long incubation period, about 2 weeks. So you could have it, I could have it, and we don't even know. And so with that in consideration, keep washing your hands. So to present not just viral transmission to you, but to other people who you may touch, shake hands with, things like that. Avoid touching people if you can, touching their food. Just common things. You're not being ridiculous. Realize that if you wear a mask, it doesn't really help you not contract it, but it does help you from spreading it because it contains things like coughs and sneeze, and that can really transmit the virus. So wearing a mask is good if you have been infected, think you're infected, or just have been around, whatever people are infected. But it's not going to save you from getting it, really. It's not, unless someone like sneezes right into your face, maybe it'll, anyways, I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. But I am a person with a brain, and I can read up on things and make, put two and two together. So hopefully everyone is safe. Hopefully your loved ones are safe. If you have elderly grandparents, do FaceTime with them. Don't go and visit them because just because you feel good and healthy, you could be a carrier. What I understand is that some people are getting the actual coronavirus. If you're healthy, you get it, and it just feels like a mild cold, and then it goes away, and you don't even realize that you had it because you were like, I just had a little cold and went away. Also, if you feel healthy, you could just not have actually become symptomatic yet. So that's the time actually the most contagious. So you're like, oh, I'm good. I don't have the virus. I have no symptoms. Yeah, you could be just, a total, what do you call it? Typhoid Mary. So anyways, I'm not trying to lecture anyone. I'm just getting my thoughts and feelings out there. It's kind of been bothering me, the whole panic thing and the idea of like locking down stores, especially grocery stores. There's been this panic going on. People thinking like, oh, they're going to close all the grocery stores. And then they're like, all the restaurants are closed. Like, well, what happens with people? No wonder there's a rush. No wonder when I go to the grocery store right now, all the shelves are empty because everyone is panicking, and they have reason to because we've made them feel like they're not going to be able to provide for themselves. And then the city of Philadelphia has decided, or is it the whole state of Pennsylvania? I can't remember. One of the two decided they're going to announce that they're not going to arrest people for committing crimes, severe crimes, like felony crimes, like armed robbery, like, stealing cars, Grand Theft Auto. Really, dog? You have to drink right now? So it's one thing not to be able to do that because of the situations of the pandemic, but then to publicly announce it. Do you understand? You're just giving like a notice, like, hey, criminals, now go steal cars. Now's the time. Right? And there's no reason now. Why is there a run on guns? Gee, I wonder. It's like, I think the government, and I'm not trying to blame Trump. First of all, anyone who's blaming Trump I'm not going to call you names. You're not thinking it through. Okay? The head executive of the United States does not control all the municipalities in the country and every little decision, right? These are your local governments. Even your state governments that are really more responsible for these things. So we need to ease off the trigger of everyone like, oh, Trump caused this and Trump. It's like there's many government officials for a reason because one person can't just control everything. So get at your local level officials and really hold their fat to the fire because not every state is doing the same thing, which is another evidence that it's not a federal crackdown. But I'm rambling way too long on this. Like I said, I hope that you guys are having safe. I hope if you are quarantined and you're working from home or doing whatever, that you're getting some good comic reading. That's why you come to this channel, because you like comics, hopefully. Or maybe you just like listen to an idiot ramble on about comics and shit he doesn't know anything about, right? So, hashtag wash your hands. Stan and Forky are here, as always, to watch me open my burger in front of you. Now, if you're a first-time person, you're like, what do you mean open a burger? So I show off my comics, but I also show off my burger that I give every week. In-N-Out Burger is a big Southern California thing. I was away from Southern California for 17 years. That's also kind of when I was away from comics. I was out of state, so I didn't get to have when I came back into comics. It just seemed natural to be like, hey, let's celebrate New Comic Book Day by eating a nice double from In-N-Out. Man, they smashed it a little bit. Let's see if we can fix it. I'm cheating by fixing it, but here we go. Look at that. Double. That's my usual double with onions, extra spread, add pickles, and then special request putting ketchup on top of the spread. Normally, if you get ketchup and spread, then the ketchup goes on the top and the spread's on the bottom. It's not bad, but the ketchup mixing with the spread gives it a more tangy taste, and I really like it. So I'm going to make these two guys watch me eat and torture them, because they're inanimate objects anyway. They don't really feel pain. But I like to imagine that they're real, like I have real friends. All right. Thanks for indulging me on this. I'm going to eat my lunch, and then we're going to talk comics. All right. Yeah. That was delicious. I got to tell you, if you've never tried ketchup on, if you've ever eaten In-N-Out, that is. If you don't have In-N-Out, I'm sorry to rub it in your face. But if you do have In-N-Out and you've never tried ketchup on the spread, and you like ketchup and spread, I guess that matters too. Try it. I think it makes a difference. And if you don't like it, then it's a good example to use as taste. I was thinking about this as I was eating my burger. That we don't all like the same things. Some of us can't stand ketchup. Some people don't like pickles. Can you believe that? So it's it's a case that you can carry over. Taste is not just in food, but in the things you like comic books. And just because I think a comic book is really good doesn't mean you're going to think it's really good. And the book still could be really good. I guarantee you the burger I ate is a fantastic burger, but if you think pickles are disgusting, you'd take a bite of it and it wouldn't taste good to you. It doesn't make the burger not good. It just makes it not something you enjoyed. And, you know, some of the comic books that I buy, in fact, most all the comics I buy are really good. I'm really paring down my list, and I'm starting to get extra snobby on the things that I buy. So to make it on my pull list these days, it has to be a good comic. Now, you might hate Batman. You might just think he's the dumbest character ever created. And no matter if it's good, you just go, this doesn't ring my bell. So I just kind of wanted to talk about that before I get into the comic books. And this is something I haven't shown on my pull list video in a while, is my digital pulls. And recently, I had a big digital pull. I covered the Humble Bundle, I think a few weeks back, where it's 29 trade paperbacks for $15 of like all the Bloodshots, plus some other Valiant books during the golden years of 2012 through 2017 before they sold off to a communist company in China that now runs a communist company. And just Valiant is a huge dumpster fire. Anyways, those books are amazing. Got a huge deal, $15. Got another stellar deal. This one is still available. I'm going to tell you, but these books I bought, check it out. I got East versus West. I always say East of West. Courtesy recommendations by folks like, Wes from Thinking Critical, his partner Skip and Tosh from Skip. What is your channel called? He's got a Twitch video, but he collaborates a lot with Wes. Anyone who's a big Jonathan Hickman fan tends to really speak super highly of this book. They tell me, oh, Ash, you really liked House of X and Powers of 10. You got to check this book out. Check this out. Check it out. And I was like, this has been on my radar. I've heard good things. I was originally going to buy the big, super thick hardcover, like I showed you guys I got for Descender. They're the omnibuses. They're like 500-page omnibuses. Beautiful. They look kind of like well, I don't know what your high school yearbook looked like, but mine, they have that nice hardcover, you know, it's probably about 1.5 inches thick. I don't know. It's hard to estimate that, but they're just gorgeous, like embossed covers. They look really sharp. And I bought both of them for Descender, parts 1 and 2, which covers the whole 30-something issues. I think it's 32 issues. Series of Descender, and I got them for like $34 a piece on Amazon. So super steal, really high quality. I love them. I'm gonna eventually get them for Ascender, unless Ascender just falls off a cliff, because I love Ascender even more than Descender. Yeah, I was gonna really plan on doing that versus on East of West, but then I was like, I don't know, that's a lot of money to spend for something I've never even read, and Hickman is not a proven quantity for me. I loved House of X and Powers of 10, but I hate Dawn of X. Like, it's awful. Like I'd rather read Brian Michael Bendis awful. So anyways, you can see here I got the entire series, individual comics, digitally. It doesn't really matter digitally whether it's individual or trade or what have you. But it is kind of cool to have the covers, even though the American covers suck. I don't understand this. They have the French version of this comic, and the covers are beautiful. America never gets the good stuff. Penultimate Man I also picked up recently for free. Alita is something I got a while back for a deal. I got that for like 99 cents. That was a super deal. So yeah, also in this deal that I'm about to show you, does not include East of West, The World, which is like a source book thing, but that was 99 cents. I picked it up additionally. So here you can see the deal. There we go. Here's the deal. All 45 issues for $16.99. You save 80%. So 45 issues, they're normally $1.99 a piece. That's like $90. You're getting $16.99 a piece. And even if you got them in the big omnibus size, I think you're still going to spend $35 a piece if you get them on Amazon. Now, of course, you'll have physical copies, and that's beautiful. But $16.99 for me and my budget right now, especially since I don't know the quality, it's much lower risk factor. And I only have so much space. There's like, I'd love to have all this stuff, but so I'm happy. You might be interested in this. I thought I would show off these books. I look forward to reading them once I get clear of other stuff in my stack. Look, it's got an average rating of 5 stars. That's, pretty impressive. The other thing I wanted to point out, some people talk about Comixology like, I like owning my books. Well, Comixology does, depending on the seller, allow you to have DRM-free backups of your books. And not all of them, Marvel and DC, I don't think do this, but a lot of other companies do, including Image. And so here you can download PDF or CBZ files of your backups, of your comics as backups, so you can physically own them. So should Amazon ever go out of business, you're not stuck going, oh, I don't have these books anymore. So if that's a thing for you, it's not really for me when I'm getting them this cheap, but if that's a thing for you, there you go. So that's what I bought digitally this week, and let's go on to physical comics. So I did get some back issues this week, and it made my bill swell a little bit. Here's the receipts. Always show your receipts in case anyone accuses you of not buying comics, because we all know who actually doesn't buy comics, and it's certainly not us. Although I get accused all the time of, you don't actually buy comics, whatever, morons. Always projecting on me. It's like people who steal and pirate comics always assume that everyone else does as well. And so, but the industry's fine because, no one's buying comics, but yet somehow the industry's fine. That's because we're buying the comics. So anyways, my back issues starting off. So I got Undiscovered Country number 2, Undiscovered Country number 3, and Undiscovered Country number 4. Now you might be a little confused if you follow my channel on this because you go, Ash, I thought you already got these. Well, if you're paying attention, you'll notice I didn't get these. I did get the first issue, and I've been doing reviews on these. I've been reading them. I just haven't been getting them. So I decided to actually have my own copies because this is a really good book. And I encourage you to check out my videos on these books and see if this might be a book for you as well. I really enjoy it. Might see if it's your cup of tea. I've decided, I was like, you know what? I just really do want to collect this book. I really like where it's going. It keeps getting better. And I like collecting ongoing books. I like collecting monthly books. And I like collecting quality books. And I like to support creators that I like. And this book covers all those bases. And yet Marvel and DC keep kind of slapping me in the face. And they keep doing things to push away my business. And while I do still want to support the stuff that I like, DC currently still has more better stuff than Marvel. The better writers I like over there, like Robert Venditti, pretty much anything he does, I'm going to follow. I still support Hawkman, hashtag read Hawkman. But the better stuff is with the indies, and you're pushing me away. So speaking of indies, this week was Alterna Week. Alterna sort of ships a lot of their comics on the same day. They do bi-monthly books. So it actually helps my pocketbook quite a bit because not only are their books $1.50 typically, but they're bi-monthly. So it's really 75 cents a month to support Alterna Comics. That should be nothing for you as a comic book fan. And they're good stuff. So I picked this up, and this is not normally my cup of tea because I told my comic book shop, I was like, pretty much just order me all the Alterna stuff that's not Silly Billy. And this is Legend of Log. It's a log. That's kind of silly. However, I flipped through it. It's $1, and it's a one-shot. And I flipped through it. The art is really cool. I really liked, the art's what you kind of see on the cover here, but it's all black and white on newsprint, but that made some people shy away. But honestly, that reminds me of back the good old days, man, when I was buying Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and they were black and white on newsprint. And guess what? They were more than $1 back 30 years ago. Alterna Comics is doing things right. I really like the art in this. I obviously don't know if the writing's any good, but $1 is a low risk. And Peter Simeti, the head of Alterna Comics, is one of the best people in the industry. He's everything that we need to be make the industry great again, and I will absolutely throw my support in the ring with him. I wore my Alterna beanie to the shop today, just to throw some little advertisement. Peter's, I don't know if you, I'm sure you don't listen to my channel, Peter, but kudos to you. I love supporting Alterna Comics and promoting them any chance I get. Now, here's another book that I've been getting that I do love, Blood Realm. This shocked the hell out of me. I did reviews on all first 3 issues of the first series. This is volume 3. So that's great that this was a success for Alterna Comics. If you're curious about this book, check out those reviews of Blood Realm that I did. I think they were pretty good reviews. But to sum it up real quickly here, this is a comic that I didn't think I would like because it's not really a comic. I mean, it's printed like a comic. It's floppy. It's a newsprint or whatever. But inside, it's more like a storybook. It doesn't have panel by panel with word balloons and sequential art. It's more like illustrations with narration. Like if you open up a children's book and there's a big picture and then some some writing to tell you what's going on. Now, this is not a children's book. However, it is sort of like a dark fairy tale. And so far, what I've read of Blood Realm is suitable for children if they can handle dark material. It's not lewd or promiscuous or like it's not adult thing. It's just dark, and so maybe young children it might be I don't know if it make them have nightmares or whatever. But otherwise, it's like a Grimm's fairy tale. It's a little bit Lord of the Rings-ish in style. It's just dark fantasy. And it captivated. I just liked the way that it was told. It felt like the way someone would have told you a tale, back hundreds of years ago when you're sitting around and, they didn't have TV. They only had the vocal, verbal communication to like share tales, mouth to mouth, or not mouth to mouth. You know what I'm talking about? With each other, it kind of reminded me of that feel. I don't know what I'm saying. Check out the book. It's $150 for crying out loud. Then it came on a Wednesday. This is another type of book that's not really my style normally. I'm not really a big horror guy. I'm not a big anthology guy. But Alterna Comics is doing horror anthology comics that are cool. If you like Tales from the Crypt, if you like those type of style comics or whatever, it's $1.99 for crying out loud. It's cool. It's so cool. I love getting these. I love these. Look at this cover. This is better than most Marvel books. Now you're going to say, well, Ash, some of the Marvel, yeah, because Marvel will spend money on the cover. They'll pay like Alex Ross and then flip open a Captain America book. It's a joke. It has this beautiful painted Alex Ross cover. Then you flip it open and it's got like a D-list artist that they found on Tumblr. This is what the books look like inside. This is Alterna, and it's people who love comics. I absolutely feel great about myself dropping $1.99 to support that, and I get to keep that in my collection. And when you open up my comic book boxes and you see what's in there, it's not junk. There's stuff to be proud of. Now, keeping with independence, today, AWA, Upshot Comics, made themselves kind of known. I think they released 4 books today, of quite many. I think there's like at least more than a dozen that I saw in the lineup of things that are going to be coming out. They're launching a whole line. The Resistance is sort of the flagship title that's setting up the universe. It's a shared universe. J. Michael Straczynski is one of the council of 6. I guess they got like 6 creators to head up this council to help develop this shared universe. So this is something that intrigues me because one of the things that draws me to comics is the shared universe. I like indies and I can read indie books and I can really enjoy them. But the reason I really get into comics, I'm a Marvel fanboy when it comes to, at heart. I want to be able to read the Marvel universe. I want to read my X-Men and then read Spider-Man and read Iron Man and Thor and Silver Surfer and Punisher. And I'm just kind of naming off like my old favorites off the top of my head and read stories and, Daredevil. And then occasionally they crisscross and, in the recent Daredevil run that's Zdarsky's running, which by the way is the best Marvel comic in my opinion. When Spider-Man shows up, I was giddy, not because Spider-Man just showed up. I mean, that happens all the time. Marvel doesn't care. They just throw. But it was done excellent. Like, it helped the story so much. And that was something you couldn't get in the Netflix show. So, yeah, it's a thing. and Resistance, I'm not going to go into that. I like J. Michael Straczynski. I want to give this a shot. And hopefully, we could be seeing the beginnings of the next Valiant universe, because Valiant is up in flames. Like, that picture is Valiant right there. It's just gone. The world of Valiant is on fire, and maybe Upshot can be something like that. Continuing along with Independence, Usagi Yojimbo. This is number 9. Can you believe number 9 already? This is a comic that you should be getting. This is literally a comic for everyone. You say like, comics aren't for everyone. This one is, right? I guess unless you absolutely have to have, feminist politics and identity politics in your comics, and you need to have trans representation and all this stuff. If you need that, I guess maybe this comic isn't for you. However, if you like good art and good writing that doesn't preach to you, with classic tales that are timeless, that are very much adult centered or themed, like they're not dumbed down, they're not little children's stories, and yet are still very much appropriate to let children read. They may not understand a lot of the stuff, some of the things that are happening because they're children, but there's nothing overt, there's nothing overly violent, there's no gore, there's no sex, there's really not any profanity, there's no nudity. It's just it's I wouldn't say that it's wholesome, but it doesn't go into debauchery at all. It's adult topics that manages to stay clean, and it still has fighting. And hey, Dennis Stregefors, you appeared on. He left a comment on my channel. Thanks, buddy. I'll go read that later. Anyways, Saga Yojimbo, that's been one of the best comics on shelves for over 30 years. Stan Sakai, writer and the artist, complete control of the comic. It's phenomenal. Check it out. And then, of course, the reason I got the back issue of Undiscovered Country, because I saw this, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go for this. I'm not going to continue to borrow the books to read them. I just want them. It's that good. Why am I buying some of these crappy mainstream books, and I'm not having this one? So Undiscovered Country number 4 was my favorite issue. So hopefully number 5 just gets better. I like it a lot. Kudos to Snyder and Soule and Kamen Cully, or however you pronounce your name. The art just seems to keep getting better, which is not surprising because usually up-and-coming artists are very raw, and it's actual drawing of comics that make them better. If you go back and see like Jim Lee's early days when he was drawing, I think like Punisher, or I think he was even doing like, what was it? Cloak and Dagger, or he did something before even the like. You go and look at those comics and look what he did with X-Men. You're like, wow, night and day. So yeah, sometimes it takes a couple years sometimes for artists to really get in their groove and really start to shine. So hopefully this guy is like that too. And then back from hiatus, one of my favorite comics from Image is Die Die Die. If you don't remember this book, I picked it up on a whim because I really liked the marketing that Robert Kirkman, this is a Robert Kirkman book, by the way, Walking Dead fame, the way that he did this. It was kind of a gimmick, but it was a customer-friendly gimmick, which is the kind you should do, right? Not the customer predatory gimmicks like Marvel, where it's like, we got 50 covers that you got to get, blah, 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 blah. No. What he did was he didn't tell anyone about this comic. No one. Not the stores. They didn't know it. He just shipped copies to every store. They got it Tuesday. Didn't even know it was coming. It wasn't on the solicits. They didn't order it. They got these comics, I believe it was for free, to the stores in the quantities of whatever their Oblivion Song order was. So however many copies of Oblivion Song that they had ordered, maybe for issue 1, they said, okay, we're just going to ship you here, have these books. And you didn't know they were coming. And so it was awesome because in modern comics, one of the things I really miss from the old days is going to the comic book store and just see what's out, browse the shelf, because back in those days we didn't have the internet like we do today. I mean, the internet was really raw, so you didn't go for it for information. There was no social media, things like that. So to know what was coming out, you just went to the shop on New Comic Book Day and were like, ooh, what's there? And oftentimes why you bought a comic book is because you would see it on the shelf and be like, this looks interesting. Let me pick it up. But nowadays, everyone like plans ahead and it has to get the solicits and previews. So it was really fun to be like, hey, what's this? I don't know anything about it. And when I heard about that, I was like, first of all, the name Die, Die, Die. I thought that was neat. The cover was kind of ultra violent. It was very much a tongue-in-cheek, dark humor play on the ultra violence of the 90s. It's political, but it's fantasy political, meaning like it's not throwing in Orange Man bad politics or anything like it. It's the politics of its own internal world, and I really like that. And it's just about the corrupt government and the assassins that they employ to do stuff, and everyone's betraying other people. This would be a fantastic TV series or movie. Wouldn't be able to go as in depth. Maybe you could do a movie of the first 8 issues, but a TV show, if you could do the action in a TV show, I don't know. But anyways, I'm excited to have it back. This is a book that just got better and better. I love supporting it. Speaking of which, loving supporting, one of my favorite things to see on the shelf now is Ascender. This is a book that when it came out, I was like, I'll try issue number 1 because I missed Descender and I've heard a bunch of things, and it's one of those, the most famous of the Image series. I was like, oh, okay, Jeff Lemire is supposed to be, I don't know. And I picked up that first issue and I read it and I was like, yeah, it's all right. But it stuck with me. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to do a review of this book because it's the number 1 and I'll do a video on it. So I read it again to refresh my memory and I was like, oh, wow, this is even better than I remember. And then as I was doing the review of it, which back in the days when I did it, like I just pretty much went page by page to the comic. I almost like was reading it again, and I was like, this book is way better. Like every time I see it, like it just keeps getting better and better for me. And it just, it clicked. And then once issue 2 and then 3, and I started getting I was like, I love this. I absolutely adore. The art grew on me. I'm still not a big fan of the watercolory design, mostly because of this way this book is. Like it's kind of a sci-fi fantasy. Star Wars is the best thing I compare it to, and that doesn't lend itself to that style in my opinion. But it's grown on me now to where I kind of accept it, and I don't know if I would accept it any other way. Ascender, I love it. I just want everyone to love it too. That's a lot of indie books so far. So we're going to move on to mainstream. Got DC. Oh man, I need to make some room, boys. This is a big week. Let's see here. Fan these out. Man. So look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 independents. 1 week. That's a lot. Even without the Alterna, because the Alterna comes out in bulk, that would be 5 indies. So let's now got room for Justice League. Number 43, this is Robert Venditti. He's taken over for Scott Snyder's epic run, and I haven't got to these yet, to be honest. I have to be frank, because I'm backlogged. But I trust in Venditti. Everything that guy's written is gold. So it's kind of sad. It's recently he was announced that he's leaving Justice League. Apparently DC offered him a new title, and Venditti only hinted at it. He said basically it's his dream project. Or it's a dream project rather, and so he had to take it for himself. And he wouldn't elaborate on anything else besides that. So to me, it sounds like DC said, hey, we're doing this book. Would you like this? Kind of made an offer. Venditti's like, absolutely. This has been my dream to write whatever that is, but I have to leave something. So Justice League. And it kind of sucks, as a fan of Justice League, I don't want to see him leave. And that's the big deal whenever we talk about comics. Like, oh man, I wish Scott Snyder would go write Iron Man is a big thing I've heard. And I would love Scott Snyder to write Iron Man too. I'd start buying it in a heartbeat. But then that would mean he'd have to leave whatever he's doing, which right now he's kind of free, so I wouldn't care so much. I don't know what he's going on to do. But while he was doing Justice League, I was like, as much as I'd love to see him do Iron Man, I don't want to see him leave Justice League. I love what he's doing. People are like, Chip Zdarsky, do this. No. Stay on Daredevil. It's whenever a good writer goes to a project and we want it to happen, he has to leave whatever he's on before. And I know if you don't care, if you don't care about Daredevil, you're just like, I don't care. Do I want Chip Zdarsky to go write that? Well, I guess that's good for you and your own selfish motives. But now Venditti's going to leave, and we're getting Cy Spurrier is going to write Justice League going forward. So we'll see. I'll give it a chance, see how he writes, if he's okay. But I'm not getting my hopes up. He currently writes Hellblazer, if you don't know who he is. We'll see. I'm going to be positive. Hopefully it's good, but you got to make the cut. So last, certainly not least, is Batman number 91, James Tynion's big epic story that he's doing. One of my favorite artists in comics right now, Jorge Jimenez or George Jimenez. Why is Albuquerque on there? Is he doing some of the art? One of my not favorite artists, Albuquerque. I don't think Jimenez is best suited for Batman. I guess they're trying to give this book some notoriety and like get its sales back up after Tom King tanked the shit out of it. It's going to take a lot. It's way harder to build sales than it is to lose sales. And this is one of the things that I was saying to DC, and lots of fans were saying to DC for the longest time is, Batman was floating around 100 to 120,000 sales depending on what was happening, when I came into comics, which was early 2018. It was whenever Batman White Knight came out. And Tom King's Batman was solidified as the big number one, unless some big event book or something came out. It was always doing over 100K. When Tom King left the book, I think it was down to almost 60K. Like, good Lord. And it's like those customers don't just bounce back because DC has fooled them time and time again, right? They got all this goodwill with Rebirth after the debacle that was New 52, and they pissed all these fans. And then Rebirth came in and brought them all back, and it was like an apology to fans, and it was like, okay, we're going to be committed to you. And then like 2 years later, DC's like, fuck you guys. We're going to go back to bullshit. It's like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, I'm not buying your books again. And so now DC's in a bind because they let Dan Didio just drive this shit into the ground. And, they fired him, but the damage is done. It's going to take years and years of rebuilding and being true to the rebuilding. You can't just do a couple of gimmicky events and be like, the fans are back. You got to build that trust over multiple titles and build that quality again. And it's going to be hard. And you have to be committed to that. And you have to know that, hey, we're not going to see results right away, but we still need to keep good artists and good writers and pay them good, even though we're not getting the sales, because we need to show years of quality so fans will be like, okay, I can start trusting again. And I don't know if DC's got the balls or the brains or the foresight to see that. But right now, Batman is a good book. And I told people that they should try it when Tom King leaves, because put your money where your mouth is. If you're going to bitch about Tom King's ruining Batman, and if DC goes, okay, cool, we're going to get rid of Tom King then, and if you go, well, fuck it, I'm still not coming back, then you were just bitching to be a bitch, right? If you're not willing to buy the comic when DC gives you what you want, then you were just bitching to be a bitch, right? You should never expect them to have a reason to listen to you if you aren't going to actually put your money where your mouth is. But if you are a person who's like, man, I would buy Batman if it wasn't for Tom King, well, guess what? They got rid of him. Now they got one of the best artists in the business. James Tynion's knocking it out of the park. He's writing a solid book, 4-star book. Here it is. It's good Batman. It's what you wanted. Support him, right? And that's what my opinion is. You don't have to do anything. Your money is your money. But keep that in mind when you're bitching. If you're out no matter what, if there's nothing they can do to please you, then don't bitch just to be a bitch. So hopefully I didn't offend anyone with my harsh takes there. Tell me what you think is going to be the best. I'll put my DCs down here. You can see them. I think this is a good week. Look at all these amazing comics. The one that I'm not sure about is the Resistance. I know it's Straczynski, but it's AWA. They named themselves after a wrestling company. Not really, but I mean, AWA used to be a wrestling company. What's going to be the best? Stan, I'm gonna put all your faith in Ascender, even though it could be Usagi, it could be Undiscovered, it could be Die. It could be one of these alternative books, man. Maybe it could be Log. This Log book looked really cool. I was flipping through it. These are all, everything's solid here. I do not regret, except for maybe this one. I have no idea. It's a blind buy, but I'm like, it's number one. I'll support it. I like Straczynski. I like what these guys are doing. But hopefully you guys are excited about comics too. Put down below what you're buying. You may not be a snob like me, and that's fine. You may like comics that I hate, and that's fine. Like I said, it's mustard, mayo, ketchup. Not all of us like the same things on our burgers. Not all of us like the same comics. As long as you truly do enjoy it, and you're not just tricking yourself. Hey, look, Dennis Strogafors has made another. Nice. See, if you want to comment on my videos, you might appear on a video. That's why I have the notifications coming out. See how? I thought that was kind of cool. I don't know. It's stupid, but I'm a comic nerd. I do stupid stuff. So, thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, I hope you are being safe, staying healthy, washing your hands. Vitamin D is very solid for building your immune system before you are sick. So vitamin D, really good. And if you're not outdoors, you're not getting it from the sun. So maybe try that. Vitamin C, you can't really overdose on vitamin C. So start pounding it. Helps boost your immune system. And washing your hands, maintaining good hygiene. And then eat good burgers. In-N-Out is a place that's really clean. I can testify. I worked there for 4 years, many years ago. But I'm sure they're still the same. Thanks for watching. I'm going to stop rambling, and I'm going to go read comics. Tonight, if you're watching this on the day of release, tonight is I'm going to be guesting on Jimmy's show. He's Comic Quirks with Eric Marine, and we're going to be covering The Man of Steel by John Byrne, which I haven't finished it yet. I got to go read. Oops. Cat's out of the bag. I will see you later. Bye.